Good morning, family and friends. This is Herbert Fenner, and I am your host. Today, I want to talk to you on the subject of what do you have to do in order to do the things that you want to do? Yes, what do you have to do in order to do the things that you want to do? I believe that we all have dreams, we all have aspirations. I believe that we all have desires, we all have ambitions. And whether those dreams or aspirations are launching your own business, traveling the world, getting in shape, writing a book, pursuing a passionate project, starting a nonprofit, whatever it may be, it all comes back to the question, what do I have to do in order to make these things happen? And even though this question may seem simple, but it leads us into an intricate exploration of motivation, strategy, leads us to discipline, and it leads us to self-awareness. What do I really want to do? And I know there's a lot of things that you really want to do. There's something major, something big, that you really want to do. But what do you have to do in order for you, my friend, to get those things done? And I want to take, this moment, and this is going to be a teaching moment. So if you have your pen, you have your paper, I want you to get your notes out, and I want you to take some notes. I want you to write some things down, because I believe that this information, my friend, I believe is going to help you, to find out some of the things that you have to do so that you can really do the things that you want to do. But my first question is, what's keeping you from doing the things that you want to do? Is it fear? Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid that you may not be good enough? Are you afraid that you may not be qualified enough? Are you afraid because you may not have all the resources, that you feel that you need to complete what you're trying to do? But what is it? What are some of the barriers that's getting in your way and preventing you from doing the things that you really have a desire to do? Everything that I ever accomplished, in life, writing books, being an author, becoming a certified speaker, teacher, trainer, and coach, starting my own coaching and consulting business, going to school and graduating from college and getting my degree, amongst other things. Everything that I pretty much did, that was a fear that was present. Because everything that I set out to do, these things were new. When I wrote my first book, I had no knowledge of writing books. I didn't even think that I could write a book. I used to write poems and just write little short stories. And even before that, I didn't used to write at all. And then a friend of mine used to read some of my poems, and she encouraged me. She said, "Herb, have you ever thought about writing a book?" And I had never had thought about writing a book up until that time. So when she brought it to my awareness, it made me think like, wow, maybe I can write a book. And I went from maybe I can write a book, or I went from I don't know if I can to I think I can. And you know how I started? With just a thought, a word that led to a sentence that led to a paragraph, a paragraph that led to a chapter, and a chapter that led to a book, and a book that led to 4 other books that were published, and 2 other books that are waiting to be published. But it all started with that awareness. Someone recognizing a gift that I had, a talent that I wasn't even aware of, one that I didn't dismiss, but I took it serious. I evaluated it, and I moved forward. I made that first step. I wasn't worried about publishing the book. I just focused on writing the book. And it even amazed me because the first book that I ever written, I wrote the book in 30 days. Yes, in 30 days. Because I disciplined myself. I wrote every day. And when I say every day, even the days that I said I wasn't going to write, which was Saturdays and Sundays, I still took notes. Because once I started writing, my mind kept generating ideas and ideas. So I didn't want to lose the ideas. So I always kept a notepad and I kept writing things down so I wouldn't lose the ideas that was becoming fresh to my mind. But I started where I was at. I started with what I had. So I want to encourage you today, my friend. How do you get started? Start where you at. Start, my friend, with what you have. Because what you have right now, it may not be enough for you to finish, but it is enough for you to get started. So today we're talking about, what do I have to do in order for me to do the things that I want to do? The first step, my friend, is clarify your wants and your priorities. Yes, I'm going to be going off my notes so that I can give you valuable and valid information. So step 1, write it down. Clarify your wants and your priority. So this is the first and most crucial step in achieving what you want, is to find it clearly. Make it plain. Make it clear. Don't try to make it complicated. Don't try to make it complicated, but just try to make it as clear as possible. I want to get my 4-year degree. I want to finish a book. I want to write a novel. I want to start my own business. Make it clear. If that's what you want to do, just define it. That's exactly what I want to do. And a lot of times what happens is that people get stuck because they have vague or conflicting desires. Sometimes we want to do too many things and we end up doing nothing. Let me say that again. Sometimes we want to do too many things and we end up doing nothing. So you don't want to become overwhelmed and you don't want to get discouraged trying to do too many things. And another thing is, you don't have to do everything. And you don't have to worry about being good at doing something that you really want to do, especially if it's something that is new. Don't worry about being good. Just focus on getting started, because nobody starts off good. But in order to get good, you first have to get started. So the first question is, what exactly do you want to achieve? Write it down. What do you want to achieve? Do you want that education? Do you want that business? Do you want a better relationship? Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, write it down and make it plain. The next question is, why do you want to achieve it? What is your why? What is the essential for your motivation? And I talk about your why often because your why, my friend, it has to be strong. Your why is the motivation behind the reason why you want to do it anyway. And if you don't have a strong why, if you don't have a strong motivation, if you don't have a compelling reason for why you want to do it, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. I mean, your why have to be like a life and death situation. I'm talking about a situation where, your doctor tell you, you have to lose weight. You have to lose weight or it's critical to your life. It's critical to your health. So somebody see you in the gym every day and they seeing you being consistent and they ask you like, what happened? I see you consistent. Why are you in every day? What's your why? What's your motivation? My motivation is I don't want to die. My motivation is I want to live. My motivation is I have family to live for. That's my motivation. That's my why. So you have to have a strong why. For me, going back to school and getting my college degree, one of my whys, or my strongest why, is because I didn't believe that I can do it. And I needed to prove a point to myself that it's nothing that I can't do if I set my mind to it. My why was I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to be one who started something and wasn't able to finish it. Another why that I had for going back to school and getting my degree is because when I was in the process of looking for employment, it was nothing more frustrating than looking at job descriptions and reading job descriptions, and you know that you had a passion for this type of work. You knew it was something that you believed that you can do. And then you go and read the qualifications of what that job is, and then you measure up. They say, well, you need a bachelor's degree. Or they might say that, you need a degree or a certification, for addiction counseling, or you need a counseling certification or counseling license. And I have a passion. I really want to work with people. I really want to help people, but I'm not qualified. I don't have that piece of paper. And I got tired of not being able to apply for jobs that I was passionate about doing, but I didn't have the qualification. So now, if I decide to apply for a job, that's one of the problems that I really don't have to worry about, because I went and got the degree. I went and got the education that I need. So now I'm comfortable with looking for certain jobs that I know also that's going to pay me my worth and my value. I don't have to worry about somebody trying to give me something that I know that I'm not worth because I just don't have this piece of paper. So that was one of my whys. And also, I wanted to do something for my daughter. I wanted my daughter to know what was in her. And I wanted her to realize that if our father can do it, then she can also do it. So that second question is, why do you want to do it? And the third question is, how does this align with your long-term vision for your life? Yes, what do you want to do? And how does it align with the long-term vision of your life? Everything that I have accomplished, when I became a certified speaker, teacher, training coach with the John C. Maxwell team, it's something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a leader. I always wanted to be a coach. I always wanted to be a trainer. I always wanted to help people. So when I reached out to the Maxwell organization and, they told me about the Maxwell team, and it's one of the best decisions that I made in my life, because the John Maxwell team happens to be the #1 organization in the world in terms of professional development and coaching, a coaching program. And they have coaches and leaders that train all over the world, literally all over the world. So it was something that I knew that if I got this, that it would help me to become better. It will give me a tool to help me to be more successful in doing the things that I really wanted to do. It was a part of my long-term vision. And my long-term vision, my friend, was the vision that God had given me, which was Invisible Ink. And that is rewriting your story. That was my vision. That was the vision that God has given me, to help people to know that they could rewrite their story. And not just to help them, but to give them the tools, the encouragement, the motivation to help them to rewrite their story, to help them to become their best self and live the life of their particular dreams, and not find themselves living in somebody else's shadows or find themselves living in somebody else's dreams. So today, my friend, what we're talking about is, what do you want to do? Or what do you have to do in order to do the things that you want to do? What do you have to do? Because there are certain things that you have to do first in order for you to do the things that you really want to do. You can't skip this step, my friend. You cannot skip this step. This is the most important step. What do I have to do so that I can do the things that I want to do? So a good way to clarify your wants is to write them down. Write them down. And instead of you just saying, I want to be successful, I want to make more money, I want to help people. Write it down. Be more specific as to what you want to do. Define it. Does it mean having more financial freedom? Does it mean having more career recognition or personal fulfillment? Be specific as to what you want to do. And it's going to make it easier for you to be able to create a roadmap to get there. So if you say, I want to be wealthy. Define that. Define what wealth means to you. I want to be financially stable. Define what that means to you. If I was to ask you, how much money do you think you need? How much money do you think you need so that you can live a good life? So that you can live a life that is stress-free, a life where you can provide for yourself, you can provide for your family, you can pay your tithes, and you can help somebody else. How much money do you think you need? Once again, start with the end in mind. So you might say, well, I want to do a little traveling. I want to be able to treat myself, treat my spouse, say $10,000 a month, right? You start with the end in mind. I want $10,000 a month. So that's the roadmap. That's where you're trying to go, right? So now, what do I have to do to get to that $10,000 a month? What do I have to do? And then the question before that is, what can I do? Yes, what can I do? Maybe there's something that you can already do that will help you to generate $10,000 a month. You may already have the skill set to generate $10,000 a month. You may already have the resources to generate $10,000 a month. Or you may not have the skill set. You may not have the resources, but that's still your goal. And one thing about your goal is your destination. And your destination, my friend, it shouldn't change. Your destination, your goals, it shouldn't change. Don't shrink back on your goals and your destination. Now, the way you get there might change, but the destination doesn't change. Because sometimes we have detours, right? When you're traveling and you going somewhere that you've never been before, and you may be using your GPS and you're driving, and before you know it, your GPS tell you, take this exit, make this detour, or you see a detour sign or an accident happen, you don't just turn around and go back home. That's not what you do. You don't turn around because, there's a road closure. No, because you have a destination. If you traveling and you going somewhere and you have had to get the plane, that air tickets, and you have to fly, and then your flight has been canceled, you don't just say, you know what, well, we might as well go back home. No, you look to see when is the next flight. I might be a little delayed. We may be a little late getting there. However, we're not changing our destination. We're going on this vacation. We getting out of this country and we getting on one of these planes, right? So your destination, my friend, it does not change. But the way you get there, how long it may take you, yes, that may change a little bit, because there are certain things that we can't avoid. You can't avoid certain things. Something may happen, on your way, to accumulating that $10,000. You may have a bad day, or, one of your business ideas, it may not be effective. It may not be working anymore. But you don't just give up and quit. You find other ways. So that's why you write it down, make it clear. What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What is my goals? What is it that I'm trying to do? And what do I have to do in order for me to do it? So what exactly, my friend, is it that you're trying to achieve? Think about that. And remember, do not give up on that. Don't change the destination. But if you have to make a detour, make the detour. Now, the second step is, as we're talking about, is identify your barriers. Because once you have a clear idea of what you want, the next step is to identify what's stopping you. Common barriers include lack of time. Are you prioritizing your daily schedule effectively? Are you getting up early enough? Or are you just laying in bed, dreaming? Because nothing comes to a dreamer but a dream. And I always heard it said that if you want to make a dream a reality, the first thing you have to do, my friend, is wake up. Yes, you have to wake up. You have to get out of bed. That's how you make a dream a reality. You don't make a dream a reality just laying there, musing, just thinking about what I want to do, thinking about, how it's going to be, how it's going to look. See, that's the starting place. Because everything starts with a dream. Everything starts with a thought. Yes, everything. Everything that you see right now, this phone that you have, this video that you have, whatever you're using right now, the chair that I'm sitting in, the house that I'm in, it all started with a thought. It started in somebody's mind. So that's a good starting place. The thought. Yes, this cup of coffee. It started with a thought this morning, right? Now, what would have happened if I would have just been thinking about it, wow, I wonder how it would be to have a nice hot cup of coffee this morning. I'm just laying in bed thinking about it, but I don't act on it. If I don't act on it, then it would just be a dream. It would just be a desire. It would not be a reality. So don't just be a dreamer, my friend. You have to make your dreams a reality. So you have to really get out of your head. Get it out of your head. Get those ideas that you have. Get them out of your head and get it down. Get it down. I keep this. I keep this. And this lesson today, right? I'm going to tell you how it works. This lesson today came as a result of a thought that I had this morning that I wrote down. What do you have to do in order for you to do what you want to do? It's a thought that came to my mind that I felt that it's something that I believe people need to know. something that I felt that people need to learn. So I wrote it down this morning. And then I went into my archives and went to my notes and I pulled out a lesson plan. And here we are. Here we are. But it started with an idea. So we're looking at some of the barriers to you achieving your goals and your dreams and aspirations. A lack of time. Feel that you don't have enough time because you may not be prioritizing your time right. But you do have the time as long as you prioritize. One of the things that I encourage you to do, my friend, is write down everything that you need to do the night before. So last night, I have a list of everything that I need to do today that I wanted to do today. And this right here is one of the things that's on my list. So I write it down the night before. So when I wake up in the morning, start my day off, with my meditations, start my day off with 7 o'clock prayer with my prayer group. And then I get into my podcast and I do my videos so that I can inspire, motivate, encourage somebody. I do my study and I get my exercise in. So I write down the things that I want to do the night before. So when I get up in the morning, I don't waste time, but I redeem the time. I don't waste time, scratching my head saying, what do I have to do today? No, I already know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. Why? Because I wrote it down. I wrote down everything that I needed to do. And everything that I need to do is in line with my vision. Is in line with my purpose. Because these are the things that I have to do so that I can do the things that I want to do. So the second barrier that many people face is the lack of skills or knowledge. So the question is, do you need additional training or education? I do. Yes, I stay reading books. I keep books in front of me. I stay reading because I know how important it is for me to get the right information so that I can give to those whom I serve. Because you can't give, my friend, what you don't have. Let me say that again. You cannot give what you do not have. So if you lack the skills or the knowledge, then that may be a barrier. So you may have to get the training. You may have to go back to school. Remember when I talked about how I would look for a job and in looking for a job, I was discouraged because I lacked the skill. I lacked the training. So what did I have to do? I had to go back to school. I had to go get my degree. I had to go get my certification. Recently I became a certified psychiatric rehabilitation practitioner. Something that I wanted to do because I wanted to help people, who struggle with mental illness. I wanted to help them to rewrite their story. I wanted to be a resource for them. But the only way that I actually could do that professionally is that I had to take an exam. Yes, an exam that was 150 questions. And trust me, this exam, it wasn't an easy exam. And I challenged myself. I gave myself 30 days to take this exam. 30 days because I wanted to accomplish it before the new year came in, before 2025 came in. That was one of the goals. My final goals for 2024 is to get that certification. So I gave myself 30 days. So on December the 27th, 2024, I scheduled for the exam. And I took that exam. My heart was beating. My heart was beating and I passed it. I passed that exam. I was so happy. I was so excited. But what did I have to do in order for me to do what I wanted to do? I had to sign up, right? I had to register. I had to fill out some paperwork. I had to find out what information I needed to study the exam. I had to get the resources that I needed. Look at this. This right here is all my study notes for my practitioner exam. All these cards, all the notes that I use. And I study these every day. I mean, I lock myself in my office and I study these every day. And when I say every day, I mean every day. Sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. I test myself every day. I gave myself exams every day until I felt comfortable, until my grades was up. If I missed 2 questions, I went back. I went back and I had to figure it out. I had to get it. But I got out what I put in. I got out what I put in. So wanting to get that certification, that's something that I wanted to do. But what did I have to do in order to get it? I had to study. And that's what I did. So don't allow nothing to get in your way. Don't allow nothing to stop you, my friend, from doing what you really want to do. I did this in 30 days. I did it in 30 days. And sometimes you have to do things like that. Because if I'd have gave myself more time, to do it, if I'd have said, well, I'm going to give myself 6 months. You know how many things that would have happened in my life within 6 months? How many different distractions I would have had within 6 months? I may have changed my mind in 6 months. Or I probably would have got overwhelmed and, got discouraged in 6 months and probably never have done it. But that's not what I did. I wanted it so bad. I said, you know what? I'm going to give myself 30 days and I'm going to commit myself to it and I'm going to stick to the discipline. Commit myself to be disciplined, and that's what I did, and I was able to do it. And you too, my friend, you can do it. So the third barrier is the fear of failure. The fear of failure. Are you afraid of stepping outside of your comfort zone? Stepping outside of your comfort zone. Once again, everything that I've ever accomplished, it was not within my comfort zone. Yes, I came out of the streets. Yes, I did my business when I was in the streets coming up, before going to prison. So going back to school, because I wasn't a good student in school. I wasn't a great student in school. I barely got by in school. I barely made it in school because I didn't know how to study. It wasn't until I enrolled in college that I learned how to study. I took a master's student class, which actually taught me how to study. I didn't know how to study. So everything that I done was outside of my comfort zone. Me writing my first book, that was outside of my comfort zone. Me publishing my books, that was outside of my comfort zone. Me starting my own business, that was outside of my comfort zone. Me becoming a public speaker, a motivational speaker, that was all outside of my comfort zone. It was outside of my comfort zone. So that was some fear. But you know what? I embraced the fear. Because there's nothing wrong with fear. But do it anyway. Embrace the fear, my friend, and do it anyway. Don't allow fear to keep you from doing it anyway. Because what's going to happen if you don't do it? That's the question that I ask myself. What happened if I don't do it? If I don't do it, now I have to live with the regrets of not doing it. And that's the worst thing that a person can live with in their life is the regrets of, I wonder what would have happened if I would have done it. I wonder what would have happened or where I would be, or how my life would be, if I'd have went back to school, if I'd have finished that course, if I'd have, started my own business, if I'd have started writing that book. I wonder what would happen right now. There are some of you, you are good authors. You're good creators. You got content, you got books, you got chapters and stuff written down, but you just haven't finished. You got distracted. You let something cut in on your race. So what I always say is that, you got to go back into the attic of your mind. You know how an attic is in a house, where people store things at, things that they often forget about when they put it up in the attic, and they forget about it, and it starts to collect dust. But they don't get rid of these things because these things they consider to be valuable, or things that they feel like I'm going to get back to, but they never get back to. So what is it that's in your mind that you have, something that you started that you haven't finished? I would encourage you to go back to those things first. Don't keep starting things without finishing other things, because you don't want that habit. Because one thing about bad habits, my friend, are hard to break. Yes, they are real hard to break. So you don't want to start bad habit by starting a class, dropping the class, starting a project, dropping a project. No, when you start something, see it through. Finish it before you start the next thing. Because when you finish things, what it does, it gives you a track record. It gives you a track record so that when you start something next, the next thing that you start, and that may be a little overwhelming or it may appear to be challenging, now you got something that you can look back to, you can refer back to, and you say, you know what? I remember when I wrote my first book. It was challenging, when I first started, but I did it. I completed it. I mean, every book that I wrote, it was always challenging getting started. I mean, it take days to write down that first word. That first sentence may take a week to write that first sentence down, because you want everything to be right. But listen, everything is just a rough draft. When you start off, it's just a rough draft. What you're really trying to do is discipline yourself, just get in the habit of getting things out of your head and getting it down on paper. Because you can't rely on this. Because one thing about this, you'll have good ideas that come to you, and if you don't write it down, you'll lose it. And when you lose these ideas, what you think happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. Your ideas end up in somebody else's head, and then they write it down, and then you look up and you say, oh man, that was the business that I wanted to start. Man, that was the podcast I wanted to do. That was the book that I wanted to write. Because those ideas, they don't just come to you, it goes to other people. So when you get those ideas in your head, my friend, write them down. So we're talking about identifying those barriers. One was a lack of time, feeling like you don't have a lack of time. The second one was lack of skill and knowledge. The third is the fear of failure. And the fourth is financial constraints. Do you need to create a budget or find alternative funding sources? And this can be a big one, financial constraints. Oftentimes we worry too much. Yes, we worry too much, and we worry about finances. And rightly so in some cases, because we know it takes money to make money. But more important than that, my friend, it takes ideas to make money. It takes commitment to make money. It doesn't start with money. It doesn't. Once again, the house that I live in, this didn't start with money. The clothes that you're wearing right now, it didn't start with money. It started in somebody's head. It started with just an idea. And then once they had the idea, they figured the way to get the money. I told you that, I'm certified speaker, teacher, and coach with the John Maxwell team. Now, when I became certified with John Maxwell, I remember, having that initial meeting and speaking to the young lady on the phone, and she was telling me all about the program. And I mean, she was selling it to me. She was selling it to me, and everything that she was selling me, I was buying it. I mean, I really was buying it. I was eating it up. I was like, yes, this right here is for me. I need this. I want this. So now it was time to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room, you know what that is? How much is this going to cost me? Yes. What is going to be the price for this? What's the price that I have to pay to get on board with this organization. And she told me that it was going to cost me $10,000. Yes, she told me it was going to cost me $10,000. And at the time, they was doing a promotion so they could accept, I believe it was like $5,000, and then within another 2 weeks or so, I had to have the other $5,000. Now, let me tell you what the problem was. The problem was I didn't have $10,000. Yes, nowhere near $10,000. I had a desire. I had a passion. I wanted to do something, right? So once again, we talked about what do I have to do in order to do so I can do the things that I want to do. I had to come up with $10,000 in order for me to do the things that I wanted to do, and that was to become a member of the John Maxwell team. I needed $10,000. So I started panicking. Fear. Yes, the third barrier came in. Fear came in. So I started drowning in sorrow. Started feeling sorry for myself and giving myself reasons as to why I'm not going to be able to do it. So I'm starting to tell a woman, I said, well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back with you on this. I'm really excited, about this program, and I would love to be a part of this organization, but right now, the way my bank account's set up, I don't think that I can afford it. So she started asking me some questions. She said, do you have any friends? Do you have any friends, that you think that you may be able to borrow some money from? Do you have, you think that you may be able to take out a loan or anything like that? Or, the way are you working? And I mean, she would just, she wouldn't give up. She would not give up. I'm telling you, this woman would not give up, but it was all in good faith. And then she said something to me. She said, sometimes you have to jump and grow your wings down. And at the time, I didn't understand what that language was. And she explained to me that it simply means that sometimes we just have to commit ourselves. She had to commit ourselves. And she asked me, have you ever, done something where you really didn't have all the resources, but you made a commitment to do it? And by making that commitment, you found a way to do it? And when she said that, it made sense. So now, instead of me thinking that I can't do it, instead of me thinking that I don't have it, now my mindset changed to I'm now thinking about, well, how can I get it? Who do I know, that's willing to invest in me? Who do I know that really believe in me? So I jumped. And I said, you know what? By the end of next week, I'll have my first $5,000. And she said, good. And then she got to telling me about all the bonuses and other stuff that's going to come, with me taking advantage of this offer and everything. And I wanted it all. I really wanted it all. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Before that Friday came, I came up with $5,000. Yes, I came up with $5,000. And before the next Friday came, I came up with an additional $5,000. So I came up with the $10,000. Yes, thank God for the help. Thank God for the resources. Thank God for my wife, who supported me, who believed in me. I thank God for her and others who helped me. So I was grateful for that. But I learned a valuable lesson. And one of the lessons is, if you want other people to believe in you and believe in your dreams, the question is, do you believe in you? Because you can't expect people to believe in your dreams if you don't believe in your dreams. You can't expect people to invest in you when you're not willing to invest in you. So I was able to come up with the $10,000, and before the next month was over, guess where I was headed to? I was headed to Orlando, Florida. Yes, go to a John Maxwell conference, to get my certification. Me, my wife, my daughter. It was an awesome experience. Met a lot of great people. Got a chance to meet John Maxwell in person. I mean, it was amazing. And as they say, the rest is history. But once again, going back to what we're talking about, I had to do what was it that I had to do in order for me to do what I wanted to do. So if you have some financial constraints, do you have a budget? Do you need to create a budget? The people that are around you, the one, that they say they believe in you, they believe in your ideas, they believe in your dreams, are they willing to invest in you? But are you willing to invest in you? Are you willing to make some sacrifices? Right? Are you willing to cut back on buying, that $4 or $5 Starbucks coffee every day? Are you willing to make some sacrifices so that you can start investing in your business? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Are you willing, to put your pride aside, to ask somebody for help when you know that you need some help? Trust me, my friend, where there's a will, there's a way. And sometimes when you commit yourself to doing something, if you tell somebody that you're going to do it, you'll find a way to do it. It's just how the mind works. It's just how the mind works. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck, in discouraging yourself, talking yourself down, talking yourself out of it. But push yourself, encourage yourself, commit yourself. In my book, my latest book, Your Dreams Matter, 7 Things That Your Dream Needs From You, one of the first things that I talk about is commitment. Because without commitment, my friend, nothing happens. So sometimes, you just have to commit yourself. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to do it. Call the school back and let them know, you know what? I'm going to roll. I'm going to do it. Call that person back that want you to be, that business partner and want you to come work with them and help them to grow the business. And, you was a little reserved. Call them back and say, you know what? I had a little fear, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way. Because I truly believe that once you commit yourself, God will make a way. He'll make a way. He'll give you the desires of your heart. He'll open up some doors for you. He'll create some opportunities, for it to happen for you. I truly believe that. So the next thing, my friend, is lack of discipline or motivation. Are you struggling with consistency? Yes, are you struggling with being consistent? Because that is truly a barrier for many of us. We're not consistent. We're good starters, but we're not good finishers. We're not consistent in our thoughts. We all over the place. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't know about doing it. I don't know if I really want to do that now, and I think I want to do something else. No, we have to be consistent. We have to be sure about what we really want to do. And don't change the destination once again. Don't change the destination. Don't change your mind for what you really want to do because you got barriers. Because there's going to be some barriers. That's going to be, some obstacles. That's going to be some roadblocks. But the roadblocks, it's going to just lead you into a different direction. It's going to take you a different direction. And sometimes the roadblock, it may show you a shorter way. It may show you something different. It may take you a little longer. But still, the goal, my friend, shouldn't change. Your destination does not change. It does not change. So keep the destination in mind. If this is what I want to do, that 4-year degree, so what? I failed the class. So what? I failed the class. What do I have to do? Go back and take it again. That's what you do. Find out how you get the resources that you need. Get the help that you need. Find a tutor that can help you to overcome that barrier. But don't make an excuse. Do not make an excuse. So the third thing, and we're going to stop at the third thing, and I'm going to continue this video But the third thing is develop a strategy. Develop a strategy. But you want to pinpoint your barriers. You can begin to work on solutions rather than remaining paralyzed by obstacles. Pinpoint them. Pinpoint them so you can work on solutions. If you know what those barriers is, then you can fix it. If you acknowledge it, then you can get somebody to help you. Yes, I can help you. That's what I do. That's what I do. Reach out to me. I'm a professional coach. I'm a professional trainer. I can give you the resources that you need to help you to overcome those barriers, to help you, my friend, to get you to where you're trying to go. Go to my website, www.putmeincoaches.com. I have a lot of resources there that are free. Yes. But my coaching sessions, my friend, they're not free. I have to charge you a little something for that. But know your worth. But I have a lot of resources there that are free. www.putmeincoaches.com. Take advantage of it. And it's going to help you with a lot of the things that we're talking about right now. How to overcome some of these barriers. Giving you content, resources that you need to help you, my friend, to achieve your goals. To help you to become your best self. So the next step, the third step, is to develop a strategy. Yes. Once you know what you want and what's stopping you, it's time to create your game plan. You know what you want, right? You know what's been stopping you. So now, let's create your game plan. Yes, I have a lot of playbooks, leadership development playbooks, professional development playbooks that I have written that will help you, that will coach you to overcome some of your barriers and get you where you're trying to go. So we're talking about strategies now. Strategies will vary depending on your goal, but we're going to look at some fundamental principles. Some fundamental principles, because strategies, yes, they will vary. You know, there's different strokes for different folks, depending on what is it that you're trying to do. So the first strategy is break it down into small parts. Because large goals, my friend, it can feel overwhelming. You know, if you say, well, I want to become a millionaire. We know that's a large goal. That's a lot to ask for. Is it attainable? Yes, it's attainable. Is it reachable? Yes, it's reachable. But we still have to take it small. You know, if you're not making $50,000 a month, $50,000 a year, and now all of a sudden you say, I want to make $1 million a year, is it realistic? It may not be. It may not be realistic right now. So let's break it down into small steps. So you want to divide, you know, your goals into manageable tasks. Manageable tasks. You know, start with, you know, $100,000 a year. Start there. Start with, we talked about earlier, $10,000 a month. Start there. What can I do to make $10,000 a month? You know, what can I use? What can I sell? What product do I have? What skill set do I have? Who do I know? What business can I get into? You start right there. Break it down into small, measurable steps first. You know, you don't want to become overwhelmed, you know, because you got this large goal that you're trying to accomplish. You know, I want to get my master's degree. You know, when you just got out of high school, or you just have a high school diploma, or you have a GED, and now you say, okay, I want to just get my master's degree. Start off with, you know, associate's degree. Start there. Start there, because with the associate's degree, it's measurable. It's a smaller goal that's easier to reach. And then once you reach that goal, you can celebrate. You can celebrate that success, and that success is going to give you momentum to move on to get that bachelor's degree. And then you go from that bachelor's degree, and that's going to give you more momentum, something for you to celebrate. And then you say, what? Now it's time to get my master's degree. Yes. So break it down into small steps. The next thing in developing strategies is set deadlines, because deadlines create accountability and it prevents procrastination. I told you when I became my certified psychiatric rehabilitation practitioner that I gave myself a deadline. My deadline at the time when I registered, I had 30 days. I had 30 days. So I had no room to procrastinate. One of the reasons is because I had already paid for the exam. The exam was paid for. The exam was already scheduled. I had a date, December the 27th, 2024. That was my date. That was my exam date. 9 o'clock in the morning. I had to be ready. Be there or be square. So I had to be there. So I gave myself a deadline, and that created accountability, because I couldn't procrastinate. I couldn't let a week go by without studying. I couldn't let 3 and 4 days go by without studying, because that would have put so much pressure on me. So I created deadlines for myself. So create a deadline, because that deadline, my friend, is going to give you an accountability. If you say that you want to go back to school, give yourself a deadline as far as when you're going to do it. When you're going to do it. What is it, February now? You might say, by March the 30th. By March the 30th or April the 1st, I want to be enrolled in college. That's my deadline. By June the 1st, I started writing this book. That's my deadline. I want to be finished. I want to be able to put my pen down and be finished this draft by June the 1st. That's my deadline. It may be some health goals that you may be dealing with. By October, I want to be able to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it may be. That's my deadline. So you working on it. You writing it down. You set deadlines because you want to prevent procrastination. Because when you don't have a deadline, you really have nothing to work to. There's no real accountability when there is no deadline that you have set. So you'll find yourself keep putting it off. Before you know it, a year gone by, 2 years gone by, 3 years gone by. You say, you know what? I still haven't done it because I didn't give myself a deadline. I gave myself a deadline when I joined the John Maxwell organization. Well, actually, they gave me a deadline. But a deadline, it kept me from procrastinating. It kept me from going out doing things that I didn't want to do. But it forced me to do the things that I needed to do, so I can ultimately do the things that I wanted to do. The third thing in developing a strategy is find role models or mentors or coach like me. Yes, find role models, find mentors. Learn from those who have already achieved what you're trying to achieve, and they can provide you with guidance and aspiration. Yes, you need somebody to help you, my friend. We can't do it by ourselves. When I joined the John Maxwell team, what I did is I put myself in an environment, surrounded myself around elite coaches, elite trainers, people that are doing what I was trying to do. They was already doing it. They was not just doing it, but people that were good at it. They were good at doing these things. So I have coaches. I have mentors. I have people that help me, that I can glean from, that I can get information from, that I can get resources from, people that can help me to become better. Do you know that coaches have coaches? Did you know that mentors have mentors? Yes. When you look at professional athletes, they all have trainers. They all have coaches. They got shooting coaches. They got strength trainers, strength coaches. They got coaches that help them with discipline in the gym. They got coaches that help them, with certain things that they do on the court. They got dribbling coaches. They got speech coaches that teach you how to speak and help you to speak publicly. They have coaches for everything, because everybody needs a coach. Because you're not going to start off good. You're not going to start off great. So you need somebody to help you. to do what you're trying to do. Somebody that's good at it. Somebody that's efficient and effective, and they have the resources and they have the tools and they have the time and they care. And that person, my friend, is me. But I do care. I do care. I care about your dreams because your dreams matter. I do care, my friend, about your goals, your aspirations. I care about what you care about. You know, and then put me in coaches. That's what I do. I come alongside. I help people with resources to help them to achieve their goals. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about knowing what you're trying to do so that I can help you to get to where you're trying to be. Help you to overcome some of the barriers, that has been getting in your way and stopping you from living your dreams. So we talk about having mentors and having coaches. And the fourth thing is use the SMART goal method. Goals should be specific, should be measurable, should be achievable, it should be relevant, and it should be time bound. Yes, that's the SMART goal method. And a SMART goal has been around for ages. SMART goal, S-M-A-R-T. S stands for what? Specific. M stands for what? Measurable. A stands for what? Achievable. R stands for what? Realistic. And T stands for what? Time bound. Yes, it has to be specific. It has to be measurable. It has to be achievable. It has to be relevant. And it has to be time bound. Do not set goals, my friend, that are not specific. Do not set goals that are smart. Yes, you want to set smart goals. You don't want to waste your time, trying to do something that you know that you're not gifted to do. It's certain things, I grew up, I played football. I love playing football. That was my desire, coming up as a young man. And most young people desires, we had dreams. We had big dreams. Going to the NFL one day and, play football and play running back and just do my thing. That was one of my dreams. But it's not my dream now. I'm 51 years old. I'm 51 years old. So it wouldn't be smart for me, to say, I want to be an NFL player. That's not a smart goal for me. So you have to be realistic, when it comes to, setting your goals. I'm not going to set a goal and say, I want to be a singer. I would love to be, the next great singer, because I can't sing. That's not a smart goal for me because I'm not a singer. So you want to make sure that, that your goals, that you're operating within your strengths. You're operating within your giftedness. And you have gifts. Yes, you have talents. You have strengths. And even with your strengths, you can always get stronger. You can always get better. But don't set goals based on your weakness. Don't set your goals based on your weakness, because one thing about your weakness is your weakness. And that's why it's called your weakness. So when you find yourself and you have area of weakness, that's when you can strengthen your weakness, and you might can get a little better in that area, but you're not going to get great in your weakness. You're not going to become exceptional in your weakness. People don't hire people for their weakness. No, people actually get fired for their weakness. But you don't get hired for your weakness. People don't ask you, like, what is your weakness? We need to know what your weakness is, so we can hire you. No, they want to know, what is your strength? What are your assets? What value do you bring to this team? What value do you bring to this organization? What are your strong points? So recognize, my friend, the areas that you're strong in. So that you won't be wasting your time. So make sure that your goals are smart. Make sure they're smart goals. And the next thing, the final thing dealing with developing a strategy is track progress. Once again, keep a journal, create a vision board, or use apps to monitor your progress. Keep a journal, track progress, write it down. Write it down. I used to when I was in college, I tracked my progress. I mean, after each semester, I go online and I look to see exactly how many classes I had left. I look to see exactly how many classes I completed. And I just look at it and say, man, I got 12 more credits left. I got 15 more credits left. How many classes is that? I start doing the math on that. And then I start looking at dates and saying, okay, I should be graduating by this time. So I'm tracking my progress. I'm tracking my progress. So track your progress. If you're writing, track your progress. I'm writing a chapter a day. I'm writing a chapter in 2 days. Therefore, if I keep it going like this, then I can be finished in 30 days. I can be finished in 60 days. I'm losing weight. Every week I'm losing 2 pounds. I'm losing 2 pounds a week. I'm tracking my progress. And when I track my progress, it allows me, to make sure that I'm on track. It makes sure I'm on track and I'm not getting off track. Some people are afraid to get on the scale. And I tell people, man, the scale is your best friend because the scale allows you to track your progress. So don't be afraid to get on the scale because that scale gonna let you know, like, you might be off a little bit. You might be cheating a little bit. So it allows you to get back on track. If you see that you picked up a pound, instead of losing 2 pounds, so that you have to reevaluate what you're doing, and you may have to be a little bit more disciplined. You may have to, modify some things, change some things around, get some information. Because sometimes I see people get on the scale and they get discouraged and say, man, I done picked up 2 pounds. But they not knowing that muscle also carries weight. So you can actually be burning fat and picking up muscle. And that's why you don't just get on a scale to just check how much you weigh, but you also check, your body mass and things like that. So you can measure, the fat and stuff that's on you, and see how much of it is fat, how much it is muscle. So information is important because you could be discouraged thinking that, oh man, I'm picking up weight instead of losing weight and not knowing that you're actually burning fat, but you're picking up more muscle. So we're gonna conclude, this lesson for today, but we're gonna continue this lesson on tomorrow. And the next steps that we're going to talk about is step 4, which is build the right habits and mindset. Step 5 is take action and adapt. Step 6 is overcome setbacks and stay resilient. And step 7 is evaluate and refine your approach. And in our conclusion, we're going to talk about the journey is a reward. Yes, the journey is a reward. Because I always tell people, listen, you have to enjoy the journey. You have to enjoy the journey. Everything that you're doing and you say that this is something that you really want to do, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't have, this dreadful attitude in doing it. You should be excited. You should be excited. And I know that every day is not going to be the same. Sometimes because of the disciplines or some of the things we may have to do, we may have to get up and study. We might have to do some reading. We might have to do some homework. We might have to do some research. But listen, it's part of the journey. It's helping you to become. Helping you to become. It's what you become on the journey. So the destination, my friend, is not really that important. What's more important is who you become on this destination, who you become on this journey. Because when you get the degree, once you graduate, and you think that, okay, that was that's where all the magic happened, that, I'm walking across the stage. No, it's when you committed. When you made that commitment to start, that right there, my friend, that's where the magic happened. Every day when you discipline yourself to study, and you made the sacrifices, that is what made you to become the person that you became. Now, the graduation, that right there is that's part of the goal, but the growth comes through the process. The graduation It's just showing people what you did in public or what you did in private. That's just a public display of what you done in private. That's what the graduation is. Just a public display of everything that you worked on in private. So you're being rewarded for all your disciplines, all the sacrifices that you made. You're being rewarded for taking that first step. Because a journey of 1,000 miles, my friend, begins with that one step. And that's what I want you to do today. I want you to take that first step. Take that first step to doing what you have to do so that you, my friend, can do what you want to do. And if you like this video, please, I would encourage you, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the bell so that you can receive, this type of content once it's posted. Also, I would encourage you and invite you to comment. I would love to hear from you. I would love the feedback. Let me know, if I'm doing a good job or not. Let me know if I'm adding value to you or not. I would really appreciate it. And once again, I encourage you to go to my website, www.putmeincoaches.com, www.putmeincoaches.com. I have a lot of relevant content, a lot of free content there. And if you're looking for a coach, yes, you say, you know what? I need a coach. I need some help. I need a mentor. Reach out to me. Yes, reach out to me and I'll get right back to you. And all you have to do is when you go to my website and say, put me in coach, it'll come straight to my email. Put me in coach. And I'm going to reach out to me. And put me in coach, just let me know that you're ready to get in the game. That's what that means. Put me in coach is actually saying that I'm tired of sitting on the sideline, watching my life go by. I'm tired of sitting on the sideline watching everybody play the game that I should be playing, living the life that I should be living the dreams, that I have. I'm ready to get in the game. I'm ready to do my part. Put me in coach. So be great today. Be inspired today, my friend, and I'm waiting on you. Put me in coach.